Looking forward to getting back to the game field after the end of last season. That's the only way you can make up for what happened. But we're looking forward to it. We've had a good spring, good off-season recruiting. Had two good recruiting classes back to back. The big thing I'm excited about is we get a little closer defensively. We hadn't had enough depth to compete in this league with all the high-powered offenses that we've seen over the last couple of years. You need around 30 players that can go day in and day out and play in this league. We've been about half that. But we've pretty much doubled our talent on that side of the ball. We've taken some junior college players. Most of the guys that played last year are back with us, and I think they're going to help. We have Art Coffin, our new defensive coordinator, along with John Levitt, defensive back coach, and Fred Taylor, one of our defensive line coaches, with Robert Prunty. They'll be running our defense. Art's a guy that worked for me for 4 or 5 years at Ole Miss back in the late 90s. He's very experienced, understands how to run defenses and how to recruit for a defense. So we're excited about his being at the helm of our defense because that's where we're lacking. Last year we tried to hide our defense a little bit with a running game. We wanted to run the ball a little bit more. Along with Seth Day, first-year quarterback, we were off and running. We were playing well. Seth was having a very good year. We were 5-2 mid-season. Had a big win in Norman. And we lose a running back, and that threw the ball in Seth's court, throwing the ball pretty much every down, and then we were on the field a lot more defensively. So things kind of went out of control for us after that. But we have some young defensive guys that we're excited about, some young offensive guys. I think that, well, I know we'll be much better. We've just got to continue to be more consistent in what we have in the past. Questions?
Okay, we'll take questions for the coach. Again, we'll start right up here in the front middle. Just second to the mic.
Joe Yager, RaiderPower.com. Coach, could you talk about Art Kaufman and how much of an impact you can realistically expect him to make with your defense in his first season? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, the big change that we're probably going to have in this league since the emergence of West Virginia, and then you've got TCU, you've got Texas that's changed their offense. There's going to be a dramatic change each week in terms of what type of offense that you play. And so you've got to have somebody that understands how to adapt to different offenses, how to make changes in terms of your personnel on defense. And that only comes from experience. And Art's been there. We went through a lot of the same scenarios while we were at Ole Miss together. He did the same thing in the ACC the last few years of seeing different teams in that league each week. And so I think that's the big factor, having an experienced coordinator being able to make those changes week in and week out, personnel, move people around, how to do those things in terms of giving yourself a chance for success. You're still going to have to score a lot of points, no matter what. You're going to give up points in this league. This is a points league. I mean, we scored close to 40 points a game last year, won 5 games. West Virginia coming in and TCU coming in with a lot of great offensive talent. Defensive coordinators are going to earn their money. They're going to earn everything they get every week for the changes that they have to make.
Question on the front line.
Where is Eric at in his status?
Who's that?
Eric Stevens.
Eric Stevens is much better. I'd say he's probably 80% right now. Eric's our running back last year that was off and having a great season. We were hoping to have a 1,000-yard season out of him, and he was looking very good. And we get the Texas A&M game, and it was devastating. It wasn't just a knee injury; it was a leg injury. Total replacement. It was one of those that you hate to even think about. But he's gone through now 8 or 9 months of hard rehab after his surgery. They actually waited a month before they operated on his knee, because it was so bad, just to let the swelling go down, just to let everything kind of connect back together that would connect back together, which wasn't much, and then go in and work on it. Our doctors did a great job, and he's been in the training room relentlessly for the last 7 or 8 months. He started running about 5 or 6 weeks ago in terms of making cuts, changing directions. He has to wear a knee brace as we speak. The thing that we'll do practice at the beginning of two-a-days. We won't obviously have any contact with him, but he'll go full speed in routes and running the ball. We'll keep players off of him, but sooner or later you're going to have contact. We have 3 non-conference games early. We hope to get him in some, if not all those games, to get his confidence back, because that's what you need when you have an injury like that. It's, you think about that, as a lot of positions, you have that injury, you're not going to have contact on every snap, but running back, and you're running the football, you're going to get hit high, low, from the side, from the front, from the back, and you've got to build that confidence back that knee's there, whether it's, and that knee's probably stronger than the other one right now, but that player has to learn and build that confidence back. So hopefully he'll be back. And DeAndre Washington, we lost our backup running back, also pretty the same type of injury, not quite as bad, and both of them are recovering pretty good at the time.
Question about halfway back.
Kurt Bowles from Austin American Station. Tommy, coming from the SEC, as far as defensive philosophy, do you feel like the first 2 years you got too consumed by going against spread offenses so regularly that you got away from being as physical as you wanted to be and had to be in the SEC?
No, not really. We got consumed, but not having enough depth over there to play in this league. We had to move linebackers to defensive line the first year, and then those defensive linemen graduated, and we're looking around playing true freshmen, and probably didn't take enough junior college guys. But it's just, I don't want to do it that way. We want to take a few junior college players and build it with high school kids. Last year, I redshirted a defensive lineman that we just said, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to bite the bullet. He's going to be a great player. His name is Brandon Jackson. We left a red shirt on him, didn't play him, and it's going to help us in the long run. And so the thing that we had to do and knew we had to do when we got here is build our depth up, build our talent level up, get 3 deep at almost every position, because you win with depth in college football. You don't have to have great players, but you better have good players that when somebody gets hurt, the next guy that goes in can replace him, and your drop-off is not drastic. And it was drastic for us. Last year, mid-season, we were moving wide receivers to corner. Not as backups, but as starters. You can't do that. You can't do that in college football. We just did not have the numbers. And so now we're getting to the point where we don't have to do that. We've got more depth. We've got more talent. We've doubled our talent, so to speak, in the last couple of years on defense. We're going to be fine offensively. We just need to have a little bit of luck and keep the guys healthy. But you can't win big games. The big game that we won last year against Oklahoma is we played over our heads. We were able to knock some plays down. We played well on third down. A lot of young guys, a lot of guys that learned a lot from that game. And we weren't able to duplicate that defensive effort the rest of the year, the next 5 games. And so for us to go to another level, it's not going to be on offense. It's going to be on defense. And so that's been a huge part of our recruiting and our efforts in my first 2 years being here, getting our defense to that level, no matter what kind of offense it will play.
We got a question on the side, and then we'll move to the middle.
Don Williams from the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. Coach, can you tell us the status now for preseason practice for Jason Morrow and Kenny Williams, and then the same thing with Darren Moore?
Yeah, in the next couple of weeks, the way you need to do it is, these are 3 guys that had some off-field problems. I let it go through the system, pretty much. We find exactly what they did and what they find out about them, and then we'll go from there. Jace and Kenny's has been a little bit longer. I think that's about wrapped up. Darren Moore, we'll have to wait and see, about probably a week or so more in that situation. But right now they're kind of in limbo with off the field problems. You're gonna have some. You've got to deal with them. No matter whether they're starters or backups or whatever, and then you go from there, and that's what we'll do.
Question in the middle.
Joe Yeager again. Coach, could you talk about the physical size of your defensive front 7? And that's probably not the biggest front 7 in college football right now. Is there any concern with that possibly being an issue, though?
Yeah, we are not that big, and we've gotten bigger. That happens in the weight room. You Some guys need to lose weight when you get them, some guys need to gain weight, some guys need to gain strength. The area that we were lacking a lot at last year was people ran the football right at us, and we were a non-factor with our front four. This year, our two starting defensive tackles will be around 290. We'll have one backup that'll be about 310, which is much better than it has been in the past. We're moving a defensive end, Leon Mackey inside, who played last year about 260. Now he's up to close to 280, 285. Again, that's one area in this conference that you play so many plays. They're big, they get winded, and you have to have a lot of depth. And we're striving to get 3 deep at each position on the defensive line. The last couple of years, we haven't been close to that. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the talent level from all 3 starters, the mid guys, the second team guys, and the third team guys. We've got a couple of freshmen, one freshman that we're bringing in, Anthony Smith. He came in a couple of weeks ago, second summer session, about 325. He needs to lose a few pounds, but he's more what you need to find. Defensive linemen are the hardest to find in the country. The teams that win usually bring defensive players in that are either linebackers or defensive ends and make defensive tackles out of it. Jay Ratliff, for me, who's a starter here in Dallas for Cowboys, who probably weighs about 310, he was a 225-pound tight end for me at all. And so you've got to try to project what they're going to be when you sign them, and then put weight on them that are good athletes and make defensive linemen. Very few players come out of high school, very few come out of high school that are defensive linemen that stay defensive linemen in college. Most of the time, those guys move to the offensive line because they're a little bit more athletic. Those that have defensive linemen have a much better chance of having success and consistency than the ones that don't. And we're striving to get there. We're not there yet.
Question from the outside, right?
Scott Fitzgerald, 1340 The Fan, Lubbock, Texas. Coach, you talked about the increased depth. And you lost a couple of games last year. You lost on special teams, I thought, with Payton, unblocked field goal, and a couple of big punt returns in K-State, or kick returns. But how does that affect special teams with your increased depth?
Yeah, you have to bite the bullet, and you have to get your starters out of the game on some special teams. And you just can't keep leaving them out there because it gets so many reps. You know, so last year, Texas A&M game, we ran 119 plays on offense in one game. Now, that's 2 games in any other conference, most every other conference. Normally you have about 70 snaps, 65 snaps. And so last year we had to play some guys probably that weren't ready to play on special teams, but you just can't leave your same guys out there play in and play out. This year, with more depth, we'll be better. We'll have better kickoff coverage teams. We gave up a couple of kickoffs for a touchdown last year that really set us back. As you said, we had 2 field goals blocked with backup offensive linemen in the game that were true freshmen that needed to be over there watching instead of playing. But we're growing up. We're getting a little bit more depth. We're getting to a position now where we're a little bit more selective on who plays, and normally, it won't be a first-year guy. It's going to be a guy that's been out there and done that and learned the hard way sometimes and got good experience.
Any further questions for Coach? We got a question on the front.
Coach, what's Alex Torres' status for practice with his comeback from his knee?
Yeah, Alex Torres was off to a great season last year. We were down to he was the most productive wide receiver, had 2 big catches and touchdowns versus Oklahoma, and had a couple more good games. And then at the Missouri game on that turf that they had up there was not conducive really to being safe. We lost him and 2 other guys to knee injuries. But Alex is he's recuperated. He's still got a little bit of limp in his run. I noticed the other day. He has a brace on. He probably has one of the better set of hands than any receiver I've ever been around. Very competitive. He'll be ready to go. Whether he's going to be 100%, probably not at the beginning. But he's been cutting and running probably a little bit longer than the other guys with knee injuries. We had I think 8 knee surgeries last year, and he's probably in the middle of the pack of being able to be closer to 100%.